Hello, it's me, Jess. Welcome to my channel. I'm here with another channeled message. This is a specific message. It might resonate with you. It might not. All right. So I'm not sure how long this one's going to be because I just keep hearing the same phrase over and over and over again in my mind. And I just know that I'm meant to pass this along for whatever reason. So I keep hearing cheating is abuse. Cheating is abuse. Cheating is abuse. And I just feel like for the people that were drawn in here to this particular message, Spirit, it feels like that crisp, clear, simple truth is meant to illuminate a lot or clarify. Yeah, I'm hearing look again. Look again at some kind of past situation and maybe a person or people that you are involved with in some way. And for some of you, possibly look again at your own behavior in the situation. How does that look different to you through this lens of cheating is abuse? Because I feel like this group may have gotten themselves into some kind of sticky situation on the 3D, and you would know that in some way, shape, or form, whatever your position was in whatever's gone on here surrounding cheating. Because not for all of you were you the cheater or involved. Maybe some of you kept a secret here, but regardless, you know that you're in some kind of sticky situation and it requires some kind of tact and intelligence and delicacy to navigate out of. And they're showing me the Ace of Swords. And I feel like Spirit is actually trying to assist you in this process because there's like a genuineness, I think, of trying to be able to navigate out of the situation to try to clear that up. That's that Ace of Swords, to like clear something up. You want to bring some kind of truth to somebody, or you want to navigate the situation using the truth. And I'm just seeing you kind of like, it's like you're navigating this dark, spooky maze that's like, there's a lot of like cobwebs and stuff. And you have to like, you've got to cut through it, and you know that you don't want to disturb certain things here. Like it requires a certain level of clarity and tact moving through this. And this simple truth here of cheating is abuse somehow is like the base of the sword. It's like the foundational truth that Spirit needs you to understand if it's going to help you to navigate out of this situation, because it's like you're not going to make the right moves or the right situation, or you're not going to say the right thing if you don't understand that cheating is abuse. And if you don't approach it from that kind of mindset, or that if you're trying to have a conversation with somebody, it doesn't feel like right now is like the time or something, but you're trying to figure out how to approach it, and that's meant to lead you onwards. I hope this makes sense. So that's a part of it. And I just heard Sword of Damocles as well, which makes me feel like there's kind of a timing thing, because it's like the Sword of Damocles like hung over Mercury. What's his name? Loki. Hung over his head, and it was like it could drop like at any moment in time. And so I think you feel like there's a truth here in this situation that might come out at any moment in time. And so, but also maybe it won't come out. Like you don't know, right? And so you're trying to figure out how to navigate through. Yeah, it's like this purgatorial kind of a feel here as well. But it does feel like something might come out about this, like possibly sideways in some way. I don't know. Now that's on the 3D, right? Because I feel like this group has gotten themselves into some kind of situation. But the other thing Spirit wants you to understand is that this is also a group in some way, shape, or form, because there's a lot of different shapes that this can take. But this is a group that has some kind of karmas to clear up around cheating. And again, this could be because, maybe there's a cheating scenario that does like affect a friend group. You're friends with both of these people. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you are being cheated on or that you are the cheater. Although I think for a lot of you, it does involve playing one of those roles or the other, or potentially both of those roles. And karma for me, it's like working through a knot where you have to kind of slowly peel things apart in order to understand something that you didn't understand before, or that you couldn't see before. And that's why you got in that situation. And again, I feel like regardless of which side of the coin here, where maybe you've been cheated on in this situation, because maybe you involved with a karmic, and that's the karma here, is like how to see this karmic clearly, but again, this feels like step one. Cheating is abuse, and kind of understanding that. Now, as I'm saying that, and I keep hearing it like turn over and over in my mind, I'm staring at a Knight of Cups card from one of my decks. It's the Lightseers Tarot. I super love that deck. But this Knight of Cups in this deck is like super dapper looking. very suave. There's like a picnic blanket here. There's a love letter. He's holding roses. He's got a fedora, the internationally recognized douche symbol. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, but the whole thing looks like very dreamy and very romantic. And I feel like that's the point that Spirit is trying to make here, is that cheating is not romance. Cheating is not love. Cheating is abuse. And so I kind of want to take this through different positions on the field here. And even if it's not your position, it might help you to look through this lens, because I'm kind of getting a victim, rescuer, persecutor vibe here a little bit of maybe some of you play different positions. But so what I mean is that for some of you, I think you've been cheated on and you're trying to heal from whatever that situation was. And possibly you're still looking at this person like they are a big love, and you feel like you still can't see this person quite clearly. And Spirit's saying, look, this is the key in some way. Cheating is abuse. Because maybe I'm kind of seeing you do like research about like, okay, what do you do if you've been cheated on? You know, how do you know if you should stay? How do you know what things are you looking for? How do you heal from infidelity, et cetera, et cetera. But you might also want to do some research into like just, I hate to say like generic abuse, but just like, how do you heal from an abusive relationship? I just heard coercive control as well as something you might want to look into, because Spirit is, oh, I'm hearing a lyric from a Jessica Andrews song. She's a country artist. This is like from way back in the day. It's, there's more to me than you. And some of you might want to listen to that, but there's a lyric in that song that says, I'm not saying I'm battered and bruised, but I might as well be with the words you use. And I feel like apply that to cheating here. Like, I'm not saying I'm battered and bruised, but I might as well be with you cheating on me, you know? Because Spirit's saying there might be an element of this, especially if the cheating was like chronic, or where, you know how like the research shows that some people who like put their hands on their spouse or on their partner, they do it to try to maintain control, you know? And especially if they feel like their partner is really attractive, then they can like try to put their hands on them, because then they have to like cover up, and then they look less attractive, or they don't leave the house as much. And also there's like the self-esteem thing. And so for some of you, I feel like this is just for some, so only take this if it resonates, right? But the cheating could have played that kind of role in your relationship. And so it's not simply healing from infidelity. I mean, you're going to have to heal from that as well, but it's the abuse. There's like, going on here. And for some of you, maybe you were the one that cheated and there's an element of this going on, or you involved with someone that you knew was in a relationship and they were doing this to their partner via cheating with you. Again, look through this kind of lens. Now, I think there's another group here where, it's like this person involved with you, like they were already in a relationship or something, but they were trying to make moves on you. And I don't know if you went in for it or not, but maybe you thought, oh, well, that was a big love, or you were looking at it through the lens of like romance and love. But Spirit is like, look again. Okay. Because if that person is with somebody, what you're looking at is an abuser. This is abuse, and it's not love, and it doesn't come from an innocent place. This is what an abuser looks like, you know, kind of a thing. And Spirit's trying to pop this kind of delusion you have around this energy. And I think the last group here, and this might be a little bit triggering and hard to look at yourself through this lens, but if you've done this, I think you could have told yourself that your cheating and your seduction and whatever came from some kind of innocent place, and that it came from this place of like love and romance, but actually it's coming from devil energy. It's coming from a place of control, and possibly this is abusive to like your partner, or to, if they have a partner, this is abusive, or if there's a family involved, right? Spirit is saying, look again. And this is an uncomfortable truth, but Spirit is trying to assist you in navigating out of this space, because I feel like there's a genuine desire to change. There's a genuine desire to clear up your karmas in this situation. And for some of you, I think you recognize that there's been hurt in this situation, or you recognize that you have to navigate out of something. Like, you recognize that you are motivated in some way, shape, or form. And you might not realize that, look, this is the key. This understanding, cheating is not romance. Cheating is not love. It doesn't come from an innocent place. It's abusive. Now, I'm seeing the Hanged Man energy here as well. And in the Lightseers Tarot, this is a woman that is hanging upside down from a yoga swing, and the sunlight is trying to reach through to her, but it's clear that there is some kind of haze that it can't quite penetrate through very strongly. And to me, I'm associating that with Neptune. And Neptune for me is an energy that makes things seem better than it actually is. And I always think of Jewel from Truth and Aspect Astrology. She's so good. She's on YouTube. She's got a website. She's so knowledgeable. But a lot of people ask her about their synastry and they ask her about different planets. And everybody's always so happy when there's Neptune in their chart because Neptune is such a dreamy, romantic planet. And they're like, well, we've got this Neptune connection. Doesn't that mean that, we're twin flames or this is a spiritual love or whatever? And she's like, well, listen, it can mean a lot of things, but I always get very wary with Neptune because it creates illusions and it can be hard to see the truth in a situation here. And I feel like there's something like that going on where it's this like haze of, maybe it is like the romance thing and the love thing, but Neptune for me is also the energy of like the siren. And the siren has a beautiful song, but it's devil energy. It's luring sailors off to their death, and it's a nasty creature that has like fangs and it wants to eat you. It doesn't want to love you, and so I feel like and for some reason, they're associating that in my mind with like a seductor role or a seductive quality, because seduction is not love. It's nice when love is there, like it can definitely be a part of that, but it's not a guarantee. And, Venus and Neptune, love being ruled over by Venus, right? And Neptune is sometimes called the higher octave of Venus. Those are different things though, right? Because love is grounded. And Neptune isn't. The highest form of love that Neptune being the higher octave of Venus, is spiritual love. There's an old saying that God is the soulmate. This is the higher octave of love. I don't really like the twin flame thing because I think a lot of people, when they say twin flames, they're talking about a lustful energy, and lust is the energy of Mars, which is a selfish energy. So when you're talking about a love that transcends love, right? Neptune being the higher octave of Venus, the higher octave of love. You're talking about something without a trace of selfishness in it. You're talking about God. You're talking about the love that God has for all of us. There's not the human element in it, right? So I think some of you are looking at that from some kind of a different perspective, and Spirit is trying to assist you in getting this perspective here. And I feel like God energy is represented by this sun. It feels more personal than that though. This feels like spirit guide energy because I'm feeling that like warmth of the sun, and the sun also is very philosophical and it's health and it's healing. And I feel like it's trying to heal your mind. And I feel like I just heard free your mind and the rest will follow. Yeah. And it's something like you're colorblind. Don't be so shallow, but I feel like don't be so. The shallowness is in like the way that you're looking at this situation, like you've only scratched the surface or something like that. And Spirit is trying to help you see deeper. But I feel like once you get this perspective, your intuition is going to come online in a much stronger way here as well, because she's putting her hand down into the water and there's like runic symbols in the water in this deck. And the sun energy here, like this spiritual energy, is trying to illuminate or clarify something. I also feel in this process that you are clarifying something here about friends, like about some kind of friendship group. And that maybe is not very great or maybe is very great, because there is this comparison energy. And I think for some of you, this is like maybe comparing two people here from your past. Like one person did have an affair with you and one person won't, and well, now that you've got this truth of, look, cheating is abuse, it kind of reminds me of that phrase that, it wasn't a phrase, it was a meme. It was a tweet thread that a woman put out, but it became like so iconic that it's like solidified in my mind, where she was saying she went through all these situations from her past where she was like out partying and having a really good time. She's like, listen, I drank like a fish. I drank my weight in alcohol. My guy friend saw me home in a taxi. Guess what? I didn't get raped that night because I was not with a rapist. I was with a friend, and it feels like maybe this is a situation where it's like, well, you didn't have an affair because you weren't with an abusive person. And I think if you see the situation through the lens of the ego, or if you think that cheating is romance and it's love, well, why won't this person engage with this love with me? Why won't they engage in this romance? They must be terrible. They must not feel the same way as me. That is not what it means. They may well have feelings for you, but it also means that they're just not an abusive person. And that may be at stark contrast with somebody that you're with, because some of you are in a situation, so you could have gone in for somebody maybe that did turn into a relationship or a marriage, and that's an abusive person, and they cheated maybe on their person. Maybe they're cheating on you now, or you're kind of recognizing, maybe it's like what I said earlier about it's a way that they knock their partner's self-esteem, or make them feel like they got to cover up something, or and now the shoe's on the other foot or something like that with you. Yeah. And so you're seeing something much clearly, and that much clearer, or Spirit's trying to assist you in doing that so that you can not just navigate out of this one situation on the 3D. You don't just win the battle, you win the war, which is you're clearing up your karmas. And the karmas are not specific necessarily to like this little situation. I mean, it is specific to this, but it's so much deeper than that. And you're going to clear up your karmas to do with friends, perhaps. You're going to clear up your karmas to do with, you have a lot of karmas here that you can clear up if you switch the perspective of how it is that you view love, romance, cheating, betrayal, and abuse, and all those things, and how they're kind of swirled together in your mind. And it's making something here is like not crystal clear, you know? And I mentioned the comparison energy between partners, but also for some of you, there's like friend groups. Like maybe there was one friend group that was actually really cool, and they were trying to steer you straight in some way, but for some reason you didn't see the truth about that group. And maybe it's because they didn't want to keep a secret, or they weren't comfortable being involved in something here. But then also there could have been a group that kept your secrets here and led you astray, or got you involved in a kind of lifestyle, and you didn't see the truth about them either. Yeah. And some of you could be thinking that somebody here didn't want to accept your offer of love, but it's just that they have really good karmas. I feel like whoever that is, it's like that could be the person that didn't go in for cheating with you because they wouldn't. They view cheating as being abusive. They don't think it's love. They don't think it's romance. They actually, I don't think appreciate being put in that position, kind of a thing. So yeah, and I feel like maybe this argument is supposed to happen so that you can see this from a higher perspective. So you could be having an argument with someone here. And for some of you, I feel like it's in the ethers. It's in the psychic space, or it's like a soul pod. Because I don't know, I firmly believe that not all of us incarnates. Like some of us is energetic and like kind of stays behind, you know? And that's how I feel like telepathy and psychic things happen. That's just me personally. And so it's kind of like happening on that level where you're like trying to make certain things happen on the 3D. And maybe you guys are having this kind of conversation on the soul level behind the scenes, and somebody here's like not going in. But it feels like this argument could have seemed like an accident. It could have seemed like it came out of the blue. But it's purifying the karmas in this situation. And possibly it's because somebody here has elevated their karmas, and it's meant to give somebody a higher perspective so that they can cut away from something that seems like the Garden of Eden, but actually isn't. Yeah. Like actually walk away and actually move towards the sun energy. So Spirit's trying to reach you wherever you're at, you know, which seems to be like, I'm kind of picturing you in like a swamp that's covered with the Neptune naze. It's like you're in the realm of the sirens. Like maybe a siren got you, you know, and you're in the swamp, which to me, swamp is metaphor code talk for shame. So like you could be actually feeling very shame, but you're not seeing that clearly because you're actually processing it. You're making that seem better than what it actually is. And I think in some way you're processing your shame as some kind of like love or romance. You're processing it as it was very virtuous for you to have an affair with someone, or, you know, something like that, where most people would think it's virtuous to be self-disciplined or to hold tight to one's virtues and values. And actually, I'm seeing you being on your boat, and actually you holding tight to your virtues and values in this situation is you tying yourself to the mast. Do you know how like that's part of the tales? The sailors had to tie themselves to the mast so that they didn't go off into the siren waters. And I feel like that's what you were kind of meant to do, but instead it feels like you're in the siren layer. And so it's like upside down world where you know, this is very Nietzsche, and I know that he's often like misquoted and misunderstood, and it can be a hairy road if you go into his philosophies and stuff from the wrong perspective. But you know, he believes in strength. He believes in pursuing one's own strength and doing hard things and like pursuing your success. And he feels that that is an alchemical transformative experience. And that if people can't do that or won't do that, that their psychology kind of protects them by virtuizing their weakness or their inability. And so they say things like, well, I could have had that. But it's just that I'm too noble to pursue my own vanity. You know, it's like I could have been that leader, and really whoever was that leader, they had to, you know, they went through a degree program and they had to work 4 jobs while they did it, and they had to, and it was really difficult, and they didn't actually pursue their own vanity, but they somebody in that energy will just write it off as, well, I could have had that, but then they virtualize their weakness. And I think some of you, I hope this isn't too hard to hear, but I feel like you could be virtualizing your weakness in some way where you're like, you want to have sex with somebody and be told that that's what a sage would do, and that it's divine. And even if that person's in a relationship or something, it's kind of the energy of like, well, I want to fart in the wind and win, a Grammy and best new song. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. And so we have to be careful what we praise ourselves for. Yeah, it's the Six of Wands, like some kind of victory here. And I think some of you want a victory in getting someone's attention here as well. Or you did in the past. And yeah. But there's some kind of truth here about a routine. I don't know. Where somebody had to heal their heart. And maybe that's a perspective too. It's like you need to see somebody clearly of, if you cheated on them and you want to come back to them, and that cheating is abuse, and this person has been through a harrowing experience, and that this person had to heal from that, and they're really not inclined to go through that again. Yeah, I just heard Lesson in Leaving by Jody Messina. You're the kind of man a woman thinks she can change. The only thing changing is my way of thinking, and I'm thinking that maybe someday somebody's going to give you a lesson in leaving somebody. But there's a line in that song where she's like, you better believe I'm not, I heard you've been asking about me from some of my friends, but you best believe I'm not going through that again, or something like that. Yeah. So, okay. I feel like Spirit is working together with you to help you get this Two of Cups situation. It is working with you, but Spirit needs you to have an Ace of Swords, needs you to have this clear, crisp truth that it feels like you've been ignoring or that you didn't see here in the past. And I think you feel like somebody's not seeing the truth about you, about your heart, because I don't think you're a bad person. And I think you are a love person. Like you are a lover, but you have to, it's like love. I know this has already been a long message. The feeling of love is not all there is to love. We have to be able to honor love and protect love, because I feel like the last thing that I want to say here is I want to relate this back to astrology. There's certain things called, some of the planets are benefics. So they like bring good things and they're associated positively. And some of them are malefics and they bring kind of trouble and they're associated poorly. Now, not all astrologers view them through that lens. I like to hold it with a light grasp because I think it's actually helpful. And the way that I look at this is, if you were to follow these planets, would that bring you benefic results, or is there a possibility that you can be misled and you can actually get negative results? And that's kind of the Vedic approach to this, because Venus and Jupiter, that are both benefics, the sun is a bit of a benefic as well, but the Venus and Jupiter, they're both considered spiritual teachers. And I've actually just connected this with psychology in my own mind, because, Venus is our principles and our virtues. You will not ever go wrong trying to make decisions living up to your values and your virtues. It's also how you avoid shame. And it's also how you maintain your relationships and fairness and balance. And Jupiter is God. Jupiter's the God planet. But it's also like good luck and good fortune. It's kind of sugar and spice and everything nice. It can be really abundant, but it doesn't just rule over people who have lots of money. It's people who have lots of money, but they hold on to it for God and they disperse it. And this is also resources and things like that. So it's kind of like following your spiritual teacher. It can also be like the guru, the guide. So following those two energies, it's never going to leave you astray. It can be difficult to ascertain maybe what those energies genuinely are and what's a pretend version of that. So be careful. But I want to talk about the malefics here, because this feeling of love, right? That's more moon energy, and it can be Mars energy, right? Because moon is this feeling energy. Well, moon's a malefic. Moon is just feelings. And my therapist has told me this. Multiple therapists have told me this, that feelings are not facts. They're data, they're information, but they're not in and of themselves facts. And so we can get kind of lost in the sauce when we navigate that. It's much better to navigate from your values and your principles. It's important to be aware of your feelings. And that's where we do our shadow work and we clear out that gunk, and that becomes a more clear space over time. But the moon is also illusions, and it can be very like luxurious, and it's hard to navigate by the moon sometimes. And it's not as reliable as the sun that rises and sets every single day. The moon, sometimes it's a new moon and sometimes it's a full moon, and then it waxes and wanes in between there. You can't exactly rely on it, right? Your feelings are going to kind of go up and down. So that's what I'm saying. The feeling of love and the virtue of love are two different things. if you're going to bring love into the world, you need other things. You need self-discipline. How's your self-discipline looking in other areas of your life? You know, when you set a goal, how successful are you at seeing that through? You know, compassion, empathy. There's so many beautiful things that's why, to me, anything that any higher energy that you commit yourself to, including love and relationships and marriage, it's such a beautiful spiritual path if you approach it that way. But if you feel like you're just supposed to be married to the person that you have the strongest feelings for in the moment, you are absolutely going to hurt people, yourself, your family. You're going to be led astray because you do not stop being attracted to people just because you are in a marriage situation. And that new person is shiny, and that doesn't make them better. You're on a spiritual path. You know, and I hope that makes sense, right? Mars is another thing as well. Mars is the schmegdual energy, but somebody who aligns just with your Mars and not with your Venus, which is that positive energy, that's somebody who has Venus and Mars. They hit you in both of those places. That's partner energy. And it's not a fair energy or anything like that. It's partner energy. It's, yes, I'm lustfully attracted to this person who also represents my values and my virtues. And so therefore we build together, and you protect that if you've got it, right? But somebody who's just Mars, that can lead you astray. That's like a fair energy. And Mars is a malefic. It's war and it's competition. And Mars is very skillful, and it can be a good mimic. And it's strategic. So it can strategically, it's just like a general, like not a general, but like a soldier. It can map the lay of the land. Okay, I understand you want this. So I'm going to pretend to be this. It can be very skillful at that, especially in regards to the body, how it dresses and the mannerisms and stuff. It can be very, very convincing and making you think that it's Venus, or making you think that it's the sun, like if it wants to, you know? So this is why when you follow those energies, you get led astray. And I feel like some of you maybe have mistaken a Mars energy for a Venus energy, or a moon energy for a genuine Venus energy, or, you know, something here like that. And so I don't remember where I was going with that, but I feel like that was part of the message here. There needed to be some kind of defensiveness here against a tower energy. And maybe you're meant to see somebody else here in that light too, that there's like defensiveness against some kind of tower energy. And maybe for some of you, you are trying to protect someone from this realization, this tower realization that you know is going to break their heart. And that's giving you anxiety. Yeah, because there's been some kind of unequal give and take here. And possibly there's been an exchange of money too that you're scared is, or maybe this person's like your favorite, or I don't know. There's something here. So you're trying to navigate around, and you're trying to navigate through obscuration and not, okay, that's what this is. If you're still listening to this, I'm so sorry. I know this has been like a long one, but you're trying to navigate this through the 7 of Cups energy, which is more Neptune energy. And that's why you're confused, and you're trying to keep certain things obscured here, but it is the Ace of Swords that should lead you through this. Let me just see here. I feel like that's really all that's coming through. Let me just see. Is there anything else? You are learning. Spirit's saying you're learning how to navigate this difficult space. There's a functioning dysfunction here. It's been going on. And I feel like you've been watching this person, or you've been waiting for the right time. I don't know. But Spirit is trying to assist you in this. And I feel like it's very personal, like whatever it is that that's why I'm not getting any more messages. I feel it's very personal. And you do need like a clear path, and it is very delicate, and Spirit is trying to assist you in this with the Ace of Swords. But hold tight to that Ace of Swords. The truth has to lead this situation. And I think part of the truth that has to be acknowledged here is that cheating is abuse. Yeah. Okay, so the High Priestess came out. There is a secret energy, and then there's this Knight of Pentacles, which is an independent energy, and it's putting one foot in front of the other here, just being very disciplined. And I feel like that's leading you forward to some kind of positive result. Anyways, I'm going to leave that there. Hopefully that made sense. If that resonates, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.